Contrast uncut, yeah, you know that's us. Where we only speak the real and the real rock with us. Where we motivate the people and politic on success. Oh no, we ain't DJ Khaled, but they swearing we the best.
What's happening? It's Contrast Uncut. It's season 5. It's episode 22. You know, a little bit of Emmett Smith in there. I want to give a huge shout out to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. It's your host, Zylo. And today we have an incredibly dope special guest. He's from LA. He's the creator and co-founder of Homegrown Radio and a nationally syndicated radio personality and host at Real 92.3 FM in Los Angeles, California. He took a homegrown production company name and that turned into a podcast and paved the way online to becoming a household name in Los Angeles, as well as genuine outlet for LA area artists. For so long, LA did not have a pipeline to their backyard of talent. And since 2009, his brother, along with his partner in elevating the West Coast, DJ Head, they got it out the mud. From a 2-bedroom apartment in Inglewood to the number 2 market in the United States. You hear me? That's a long way. You take them 2 bedrooms to the number 2 market, and all he did was work in his backyard and put people on. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, this brother at his platform had K-Dot declare that he was going to change his name to Kendrick Lamar. That's legendary. I mean, people dream of stuff like that. And I mean, this brother didn't stop there. Him and Head did not stop. You know, they was behind the scenes for Big Boy in the Morning radio show, one of the biggest radio icons in royalty. And, you know, they assisted Big Boy on his show and they learned. And if you don't know who I got on the show by now, it's all good. We get all episode to chop it up. One of them ones, one of them goats. Chuck Dizzle, everybody. How you doing, player?
Zylo, man. That's a hell of an intro, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm humble, man. I appreciate you having me on the platform. And like I said earlier, man, just looking forward to having this conversation, bro.
Absolutely. I got to tell you from the jump, time's the most finite thing we have on this earth. I appreciate your time fucking with me, fucking with the viewers. I appreciate you, bro.
Love, man. No, thank you again for having me on this platform. I know it's not easy as far as scheduling and you know, getting things right and you taking time out of your day to even talk to me. So I like I said, I'm humble from the experience, the requests, and I'm just here to spew some gems, hopefully get some knowledge and some game based off of my lifestyle, and hopefully somebody picks up something from it.
Come on, bro. You know, along your journey, you done developed some heavy gems to drop out. And a lot of people don't understand when you put that work in and you put that work out, you know, it all becomes this weight off your shoulders. You drop the gym.
Absolutely.
So Chuck, brother, what's the normal 24 hours for you?
Man, like we were just talking about a second ago, and I know you know the deal too, man. Fatherhood has really just like swamped my lifestyle in the best way possible. The thing is, me being a father, I love spending time with my son, and that's one of the things that I feel like the pandemic has kind of helped with. It forced the family time even more so. So normal 24 for me is, you know, waking up, making sure the family's good, son is okay, wife is okay, get up, run for a little bit, exercise, get my mind right, listen some motivational quotes, just something that kind of gets me prepared mentally and physically to kind of navigate the day ahead. From there, to prepare for the show that we got at night, obviously Real 92.3. A lot of just preparation, to be perfectly honest, like whether it's mentally prepping or prepping for the actual show that we got, prepping for the national show that I do, a lot of preparation, to be honest, bro. Just in and out, but making sure I balance that with the family time. I think that's the most important thing for me that kind of keeps me sane. Like as much work as I put in, I try to equally balance that with the family and doing that, bro. So a 24 is literally preparation, family and work.
You know, I love to ask that question because normally there is no normal 24. The only thing that's normal is the setting at home. And then once you put on that other hat of real life, this is Chuck Dizzle, you know, it goes back to I'm doing everything for what provides for my family and makes a way to my passion that became my purpose.
For sure.
And, you know, from one dedicated father and husband to another, I got to shout you out and give you your flowers for being a dedicated father and husband, bro. One, it's a motivation that inspires other to keep on going.
Yeah, no, and I think that's important too, that we see that. And you mentioned that yourself, a father and a husband too, man. It's big that people see that. It's the representation that matters, because for the longest time, dads get a bad rap, especially in our community. And I just want to kind of help balance that out. There's a lot of great dads that I know, from in the entertainment business to personal people that I know, right? And I love hearing that, because it's like, we're out here, we matter, and we have to speak up and make sure that ourselves are represented, so people can see, like, oh, it is possible. It's not just a stigma. And when fathers are out there doing their thing, it's like, yo, it's a community too. It's like, yeah, I'm proud, I see you too. Like, it's one of those things that you don't have to shy away from, especially being in this business, right? A lot of times people look at it as, oh man, I'm grinding, I'm doing my thing. But what are you doing it for, right? You're doing it for your family, right? So I love when fathers speak up on this subject, because it's like, yo, we out here. Let's make it happen and let people know that we're doing it for a reason, and for our generation, right?
Come on, it's a legacy, and it's
Yeah.
about breaking that cycle of the generational wealth curse, and how do you present yourself in a situation where you build your family, but you also don't break the backbone while you're doing it.
And not holding on to the traumas that we dealt with. My dad, rest in peace, he was an amazing father, right? He was an amazing father, but he dealt with things with his father. Like, before he passed, we had a conversation, and I just opened up to him. I'm like, yo, man, you wasn't really the most affectionate person growing up. Like, I can count on my hand how many times I kissed my father, right? I do that on a daily basis for my son, right? So it's like, I make sure I overcompensate that for my little one. But he apologized to me early on. He was just like, I didn't know how to do that. We weren't shown affection growing up. So he kind of passed that on to me, not knowing, because his dad did that to him. It was a generational thing. So we had a really special moment before he passed. And I told myself I would carry that with myself forever, not holding on to the things or the lack of the things that he didn't do for me. And I don't want to paint it as a picture of he definitely was not a bad father. He was present. He was there. I could always count on my dad whenever I needed him. Hell, the apartment that we did homegrown radio out of was his apartment, right? It was his apartment building, and he allowed us to stay in there and not only live, but actually do the show out of there. So he was an amazing father. But obviously there's things that, he dealt with as a youth and growing up that trickled over to him being a father as well. And it's about breaking that curse, man, and realizing, okay, these are the things that you weren't taught. That's okay. I understand. You good. No love lost. And I'm gonna pass on some great gems to my little one, and make sure that the future generation is not held back by the past trauma. So it's important, man. That fatherhood is really important. And I think the more I'm in it, I'm only 3 years in, but the more day by day, I see more important lessons and values that I can pour into my son. And it's one of the most important things for me, bro.
Absolutely. My son's gonna turn 7 next week. My daughter's 4. My dad passed away. Excuse me. My dad passed away when I was 4. And so when my son got a month past 4 years old, I had a little party, because I lasted longer in my son's life than my father lasted in mine. And then, my daughter got through the same thing, and it's okay. Now, how do I elevate? My father was a great man. It's just he passed away when I was young, and some things are out of control. But at the same time, there's a valuable lesson of, I need to make sure I'm present. I need to make sure that they know who I am. And then I understand what character traits I give to my child, and that I see it. Because so much I have no idea about my father. Like, your memory starts off at 3-4 years old, where you can, delicately remember things. Bro, it's a blur. And so,
man,
from that to now, it's like, that is the biggest blessing of being a father, is being there and finding a way to provide. And then now trying to battle his legacy, and then, and going from there and that foot forward. But this is such a powerful, powerful topic, because people, one, neglect the fact that they have a significant role inside of a household. And 2, they have negligence to the fact that they got to keep on escalating everything and everyone in that household's understanding. You have to keep on growing and being okay. If everything comes down on you, then you know what, you got to be the backbone to come through. And hey, if you got to be the one that go out and get it, you go out and get it, and build the communication on what you left.
Yeah. One thing I want to leave with you too, man, is shouts out to my boy Premium Pete. And I've said this a couple of times, but I just want people to really understand this. I don't know if it's a saying that he made up, or if he just carried the term and kept it going, but it's something I picked up from him. And you're making it so apparent by what you're saying too, man. It's presence over presence, right? It's like your presence is more important than the presence that you've given them. It's okay. The parties are great, and the gifts for the birthday and Christmas and all that other stuff is cool. But the presence is the most. Your presence, and all the fathers out there, your presence is the most valuable thing you can give your kid, bro.
You know, I learned this from Nipsey Hussle, you know, rest in peace. He said kids do not spell love Money. They spell it Time. And that's
Facts.
something that has always stuck with me. Your best ability is your availability, and how do you utilize it? And you know, you have to create structure. Now, my wife will bust down this door and tell me right now that I'm working in that area. You know, when you're at a up and coming standpoint and you're doing all this stuff that you love to do, but you're still going, you sort of tend to make yourself a little bit more available for other things than you do at home. And you know, you have to supplement that. And I'm working and working. And by you giving me your testimony allows me to say, hey, I am on the right path, and I was a right check on the progress.
You know what's funny is that you mentioned Nipsey, man. Rest in peace. So I do this segment called Dad Advice, right? Where I give fathers advice, or fathers give me the advice based off of their experiences. And Nip was one of the first ones to do it. He kind of like helped kick the series off. And that was one of the things. My wife was pregnant at the time. And I was like, yo, I'm about to be a dad. He congratulated me. I was like, bro, how do you do it? I'm like, bro, you Nip. Like, I know Victory Lap is about to come out at this point. You want to go. You got 2 little ones. How do you do it? How do you like, my biggest thing was, how do you balance that time being in this industry specifically? And he was like, bro, ain't no cute way to say this shit. I can't tell you to do it, but you make time, and that's the most important thing. So it's confirmation, man. We're kind of going back and forth saying the same thing, man. And I'm loving that we're hitting the same kind of topic, home to home, out the park, bro, for sure.
Absolutely. And then watering that, you know, it's always greener where you water it at. So just make sure you keep that shade and that energy in the right place. I got a quote, you know, I've already pulled from the man. I'm going to pull from him again. I love pulling from Nipsey Hussle quotes, because that brother, he was a light year ahead of his time, but he took the time to drop the jewels along his path. And, you know, I got one. Let me know how it relates to you, or if it doesn't, the ideas, I want you to talk about it. Here we go. Ain't nobody gave us nothing. I just got my own. Nip the Great, Nipsey Hussle.
Bruh, how you think Homegrown started? That's the essence of what Homegrown started as. Like, me wanting to become a radio personality. I knew at the age of 10 I wanted to become a radio personality. So I listened to 92.3 The Beat growing up, you know, listen to Big Boy on Power. Like, these were like staples. These were icons. This is like my soundtrack as a kid growing up, right? So at the time when I was old enough to say, okay, this is a profession I want to pursue, you know, I went up to the radio stations, sent my resume up there, tried to get hired, and The Beat was the one to hire me based off an internship. So I got my foot in the door that way. And from there, I realized, like, oh, okay, radio isn't the way I thought. I thought that you can have a song, you can give it to a DJ and it'll get played, or you can request a song and it'll automatically get played. And I was woken up that's not how it went. At the same time, I was at Long Beach State, you know, pursuing a degree in psychology. And that's why I had the college radio station. So Homegrown started from that, right? And I realized, like, okay, they're not in a negative way, but it was like, these doors, we're not going to be able to get into these doors the way we expect to get in these doors. So, and when I say that, I mean like helping out upcoming artists, you know, really community based. The reason why I was really into The Beat, because The Beat was super community based, no color lines. We talking about all these things that, you know, uprooted the community back in the day. So it was kind of a missing link from that part. But, you know, at that point, I was like, you know what, I have a tool, I have a network of people that I can reach out to and try to get on. All right, well, if the station that I'm working for isn't going to play him or interview him, why not do it myself? You know, so I really got it out the mud, man. And that's how me and DJ Head linked up. He was going to Cerritos College at the time, and I was going to Long Beach State. A mutual friend of ours, rest in peace, Smarts, was like, yo, you guys kind of do the same thing. You guys show love to us. You know what I'm saying? The upcoming. Y'all, man, if y'all linked up, y'all be a force to be reckoned with. We linked up. I was like, hey, bro, I see you kind of doing a DJ. And this is before Head was a DJ. So he was just becoming a DJ. I was like, yo, bro, if you DJ, I can focus on the talking And that'll make my life way simpler. Cause at that time I was doing all the playlisting, I was doing music, I was doing all that shit by myself. So I'm like, man, if you can just relieve that stress for me, it'll just make life even easier. So at the apartment, I was like, hey, pull up one week, because this was a transitional period where I could no longer do my show at Long Beach State. So I was like, I got to get up out of here pretty soon. I got this apartment. I'm gonna just try to rig some equipment together. Can you pull up? You pulled up and never left, and we've been rocking ever since. So both of us been getting it from the mud from jump, bro. So when you say that, that's what I automatically think of. I think of putting his turntables on TV trays, right? I think of me putting my computer on a makeshift desk that I put together from IKEA. That was my radio desk, right? And that was my little 4-channel mixer to be able to actually do our show. And we rocked it from the bedroom for years, man. And it really made a name for ourselves. People knew that, oh, okay, I might not be able to get my music on Power 106, but we could for sure fuck with Homegrown, and they'll definitely play us out the apartment. And, you know, we made a wave and made a name for ourselves early on. And I think to this day, that's what resonates with people. They're like, man, we know out of anybody, Chuck and Head, we know they get it out the mud for sure. So it's no smut on our name or our resume, bro.
You know what I love so much about this is the fact that in 2008, I believe it was K-Day coming back, and on Fridays they used to have this call-in song, and then you'll call in. It was the only chance a local artist got to hear themselves in LA.
2006.
2006.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then I was a part of this. I was interning for like a hood label in Bompton or Compton, however you want to call it. But it was in Bompton. We was on 138th and Central, and they had this group called New Era Squad. And New Era Squad had won about 10 weeks in a row, and they got to do shows. I got to travel and learn all the stuff with them. And then that was like a, peeler moment for myself. And then I was like, okay, what else is there to offer LA? There really isn't. And then, so it disappeared, it dissipated. And then it was like, hey, this whole thing online popped up. And then I hear about homegrown radio. And then you guys continue to grow and flourish and have been a staple. You guys took where the road didn't meet and put a staple in there and built the bridge that's like, hey, water goes underneath here. We got electricity. It's enough juice to power the world. And that is such a big blessing because you never gave up on filling that void. And, I got to know, do you feel like the game chose you or did you choose the game?
I think it was a combination of the both, man, because again, at the age of 10, I knew I wanted to do radio. So in that sense, I chose the game. But, when I realized, like, when you tell me all these things and like when I look at the platforms now and the podcasting and how many new artists can get put on and they don't have to rely on the radio like they did before, that's when I realized like I was chose by the game. Like and when you say that, it was like, oh damn, when you tell me that, in my head, I don't realize how much of an impact Homegrown has until I hear these stories. So I'm like, even if it's somebody getting their music played or just somebody saying like, yo, they could do it. Okay, I want to start my own radio show. Or man, I know I'm dope as an artist because they gave me the stamp of the cosign, or they played my music, or they even posted my music as whatever, right? That's when I feel like the game chose me. I feel like at that point, I'm the representation. When I say I mean myself, I mean Homegrown, I mean Head, I mean all of us as a collective unit. We are the representation of like, yo, possibility. It can happen. And it transcends beyond just music, beyond just radio. It can be anything. Like you can do anything you really want if you put your mind to it and then execute on it. So in that sense, the game chose me to say, hey, you're going to be an example for this person you probably will never even meet, but because of what you're doing right now, and especially with us being at iHeart and how many eyeballs we have on us, and me being a national radio personality, which sounds crazy still, that in itself is like, there's going to be more lives that you're able to touch that you have no idea. And maybe they'll circle back and tell you in 20 years, man, y'all was taking my kid to school and listened to you one day and you were talking about this, right? What's motivating you this Monday? Or, man, I heard that interview that you did with Nip and you guys were talking about fatherhood, man, now your son is 20, man. I remember when your wife was pregnant. Like these moments in time, I cherish, and I feel like the game chose me to be a representation to motivate people out there.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of understanding your reflection, because so much time we're so much on the road and we're trying to get to this manifestation, what we vision for ourselves. that we don't have the time to reflect. And I like to ask that question because it really does put you in a realm of understanding your reflection. Because as much as you did choose it, the world chose you as well. And we continue. And so it's like, I got to know, when did you consider it like your first confirmation that this is what you're supposed to do? Was it, as your career started to go up, hosting on top of doing homegrown radio and heads on the road, touring with Glasses Malone, not really knowing how to DJ, but becoming that DJ and that development? So like, when did it hit you like, man, there's nothing else? This is my confirmation.
Two things. All right. One, when I got that internship with the beat, it was a pivotal moment for me because I was like, oh snap, this is something I literally dreamed about doing. I'm working for a radio station that I literally dreamed about working for, right? And when I say I dreamed about working for, this is like a couple years prior. I saw, this is when radio stations would go to Black Business Expo and the college expos at LA Convention Center. So I would pull up on them wherever I saw them. I would pull up on them in the streets. I would pull them at the convention. Yo, how can I get a job? How can I get a job? Hey man, 15, 16, you're too young. You gotta wait till you're 18. You gotta wait till you do an internship. Boom, spark the mind. Okay, I gotta do an internship. That's what planted the seed then. So getting that job or getting that position was like, okay, I put my mind in something and I did it. Right. And I don't think I ever talked about this, but there was a moment where I was at one of my best friend's house. And without even realizing the power of manifestation, this is what I did. I visualized myself in front of the boards because I already saw what the boards looked like, obviously being an intern. But it was like, as an intern, you couldn't really go into the studio like that. You had to be escorted. And you had certain times you can go in there. It was just real tricky. So
you was getting coffee and going all the way up them flight of stairs.
Bro, I was doing everything, man. I was preparing notes for A1 and Spinderella when they were doing their show, part of the afternoon drive. I was there with them. I was there when 50 made his first radio run to LA and did their show. So I remember having these moments of like just epic moments, right? So I just visualized being in front of the boards and turning on the mic, introducing myself, all these things, right? I just visualized it. Like after being doing my internship, or then I got hired as being a part of the promotion. So I was there for about a year. So I visualized at my best friend's house, just visualizing that shit. And a year later, all right, I end up getting, there's a lot of blocks in between, little things I can fill in the blanks in. But anyway, I end up getting an overnight shift, right? So my first time doing an overnight shift, my first time cracking the mic on LA radio, I had that moment of like, yo, I remember envisioning this shit at my best friend's house a year ago. I'm here. This is all that I've worked to get. I worked my ass off to get to this moment right here, and I made it. And I'm like, it was a surreal moment. It was a freaked out moment, but it was confirmation at the same time. Like, yo, you really can do anything you want to do if you, for one, visualize it and then work your ass off towards getting it. So that was one confirmation of like, oh, this is dope. Like I can actually pursue this career. The second moment was when, we had transitioned and doing the show in the apartment when I was telling you, yo, head pull up one week, the early days of doing it in the apartment. We're on, I think it was Ustream at the time. People don't know what Ustream is. Ustream is like a live streaming platform before it was popular, right? So we're doing our show on Ustream at the time. We're looking at the chat room and and I'm like, all right, yeah, shout out to so-and-so, shout out to, Zylo's checking in. All right, Keisha's checking in. All right, shout out to, yeah, I see you over there too. Julio G? If you don't know who Julio G is, he worked for The Beat, OG radio personality. He was one of those icons that I looked up to, like a Big Boy, like a John London in the House Party, like all these iconic radio personalities that at the age of 10, I was listening to, thinking like, yo, I would love to do that. I wonder what they're doing in the studio. Fast forward, he's in the chat room. Just, yo, big ups. Yo, we checking you out. That for me was like mind blowing because I was just like, the person that I looked up to is now checking me out. And for me, that was a cosign. That was a stamp. So it was validation. And it was the biggest moment for me at that moment. And it wasn't a field chat room. And we didn't have tons of listeners. We wasn't doing shit at the time. And I think at that moment is actually on YouTube. If anybody want to check it out, it's on the Homegrown Radio YouTube. Just say Homegrown Radio, Julio G. And you'll see the moment where we're literally, I don't know who was filming it at the time, but I thank God that they were. But you can see our real-time reaction, like, yo, Julio G is in the chat. I still have my work clothes on. I just got off of work. I had the do-rag on, my work uniform, my tie on, but we in there getting it out the mud, doing the show. So he checks in and I'm just like, yo, man, that was one of the biggest moments. It was validation, confirmation for me. And that let me know, like, okay, not only can you do it, but you're making an impact. And somebody like that of legendary status is paying attention to you and saying, yo, good job, patting you on the back. Okay, I can do this. And it was one of the biggest confirmations for me, bro. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
You know, the beauty is you never quit. You never stopped. You didn't say that this was a moment that was all I was looking for. I'm good now. You kept on going. And then you didn't settle for the thought of, hey, I just need to only be my voice, my face, my everything on front of this microphone. You also got behind the scenes. You learned that interning. And then, I mean, from A1 to Spinderella to your time working with Head on Big Boy in the Morning. I mean, there's been so much influence on your career, but at the same time, there has been so much knowledge, and that power became your superpower when the time came for you to sit in front of the mic. And I just want, the listeners to understand, what was the importance of, one, learning from the greats, but two, applying that and making your own.
It's an ego check, right? It's an ego check for sure. So we talk about doing the internship, right? Everybody know the interns are the bottom of the totem pole. You're working your way in, you're getting your foot in the door, right? So earlier on as an intern, okay, that makes sense, right? Some people can't even get past that, but I got past it, made it work, ended up getting hired, boom. So I ended up working at the Beat at the time, that station folded. I ended up working at K-Days for a little bit, that station folded. That station folded. I got fired from K-Day. And now at Real 92.3, right? And being there, it's like, okay, you spent your time doing this. You're now established. People know Homegrown. You're not a well-known radio personality, but you got a little status, right? At that moment, some people wouldn't look at, oh man, I want to intern. I want to work behind the scenes for Big Boy. Like that was a pivotal moment for me. I still have the moment of like, I always want to be a student, no matter what point in my life that I get. I'm gonna always be a student. And I've seen people in the past, they'll look at that opportunity and be like, nah, man, I don't want to do that, man. I'm cool. I don't want to answer phones. I don't want to get coffee. I don't want to get food. Why not? Like, are you above the program? No, you're not. So for me, it was an ego check in the best way. Like, yo, it's confirmation. Like, no matter where you at, you're going to always remain a student. And I'm humble by nature, but it was just one of those confirmations like, yo, stay grounded, stay humble. And it keeps me there, bro. Like it allows me not to get too big headed when we get a fire ass interview or views go crazy. It's like, well, no, reach back out and start from ground zero. And that's what happens with specifically with this industry. It's going to be peaks and valleys, and your ego is going to get checked. It's going to get crushed, and you have to be able to deal with that. You're going to have to be able to deal with being in the moment and having the spotlight on you, and then that spotlight being gone, right? Yeah. And what's going to happen? I remember when I stopped working at the Beat, phone calls went away. I remember when I wasn't working at K-Day no more, phone calls went away, but I still had a love and a passion for radio, right? And I still had a love and a passion to help people out that were in this business. And kind of like, I looked at myself as an artist, like an independent artist, and especially when I worked for the stations, right? It's like an independent artist that gets signed. Just because you get signed doesn't mean you're on. It's a great spotlight for you, but you still have to work your ass off. You still got to make sure you don't get shelved. You still got to make sure that you have that prime time, that visibility. So these things show me what better way to learn from an icon like Big Boy. Of course, I'm going to get in there, answer his phones, and do whatever I got to do, right? And that led to the opportunity of us doing a night show. They saw how hard we worked, and they were like, man, who better to put on together at night than Chuck and Head, right? So I don't know if I answered your question, bro, but I just wanted to get that point across, because a lot of times you go through the motions of ups and downs, and especially when you reach a certain status and have it removed, a lot of people don't know how to deal with that. Or if they have to do something completely different of, oh, well, now you're not on the mic, you have to be behind the scenes. How are you going to handle that? It may not be what you want to do, but it might temporarily be the thing that you need so you can learn different skill sets and apply them later on. And I thank God for that time that I did that, because now I understand how to do so much on the terrestrial side of radio because of those skill sets that I learned, watching Big directly. So it's one of those things that you learn from, and I apply every single day based off the knowledge that I've seen, directly and indirectly from that human being.
See, when you go through highs and lows, you got to realize when you're at your low, you got to throw your hands up, one. But the second point is you got to enjoy the process. And the third point is you got to realize that if you put the work in while you're at your low, it's going to catapult you to where you just were. And when you get back up there, the difference between the last time you're up there and this time you're going up there is you got to enjoy the view more. You got to process it in more. A lot of people want to be flies in the nature, and flies get spat. You got to be a sponge that's willing to allow that water to flow what you just built.
Bro, you know what's funny is that I think we do this on a weekly basis. The last time we did was probably like a couple days ago. But it's like we'll just sit in the studio and be like, damn, we're really here. Like, we really did. There's a video. I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's a video of when Kendrick got he did Don't Kill My Vibe, right? And there was the remix with Jay-Z. And I forgot who it was. I think it was everybody knew, right? Everybody knew that the remix was in, and they brought Kendrick in the studio and played it for him by surprise. And you can just see his reaction, like, that's crazy. But there was Ab-Soul. He was like, yo, they really let us in. You can just see that moment of like, yo, we have arrived. We have freaking arrived. It's one of those moments that's so surreal. And I feel like every other week, I go through that. I'm like, yo, we're really here, man. The thing, like, having these moments of wanting to do radio as a kid, and wanting to put on for new artists, and wanting to establish and build homegrown radio and make it a viable player in the game, in this business. It's like we're here now. And like you said, to your point, we just enjoy the roses, man. We enjoy it. Come here, Papa. Come here. Oh, say what's up to Xylo.
What's
Hey,
that?
what's happening? How are you?
What's going on?
Man, chopping it up with your pops.
Yeah, I'm good.
I good.
Okay, I'm gonna see you in a minute, okay? I love you.
Love you.
All right. You got your iPad in there? Okay. You good? All right,
Hey, you got the same problem I got. You're gonna have to control them ladies, man.
man, I'm already
son
know.
Gain your son up.
I'm already giving them nuggets and jewels right now, because it's gonna be like you said, them flies. Got to spot them away like flies, bro.
Come on.
He laughing too. He like, yeah, I know.
They gotta be talking about me.
Man, for sure.
You know it, young king. Who? So I feel it's always someone that invests in an idea or puts someone in a position to reach their dreams. Who do we owe to thank you for investing into your dreams?
Man, I can go on with a lot of people.
Give me
for different reasons, right? I want to thank, and I don't think I've ever thanked this dude publicly, but my childhood friend by the name of Micah, man. My boy Micah, he really put the battery in my back and kind of helped me out transitioning from going from Long Beach State to doing the show out of my apartment. He was like, man, look, I don't know what you need. I'm just here. Like, what do you need me to do? We're going to figure equipment out. All right, boom. He low key on the technical side helped me figure out how to broadcast from the crib. And I thank that dude forever, man. He reps his entertainment company. It's called Arbitrage Entertainment. My boy, Micah, I've been knowing him since, man, we 30 years in now. So I thank him. I thank my cousin Ron, man. My cousin Ron has been like my biggest cheerleader, no matter you know, what I do, he's always there to be like, hey man, Chuck, you the best, bro. Like, man, ain't nobody with you. Like, even when I'm at my humblest moments, Mama is here. Even when I'm at my humblest moments, he's there to say, hey man, but you deserve this, right? And that's that cocky side that I need in the back. Like, hey man, you deserve it. You deserve it. I thank my wife for being there as a supporter. You know, she's the one that, you know, when times were low and things was looking rough and I'm going from work to the station or figuring out or putting things together, or we doing homegrown with a living room full of people while she's living there, she didn't complain, you know, where a lot of spouses, a lot of partners probably wouldn't have that, right? And rightfully so. There was no reason why she should have felt safe in that house when strangers were coming in and out until 4 a.m. while we're doing interviews in Inglewood, right? So I thank her for just being that foundation as far as support, and my family as well, man, just always supporting and saying, look, we may not agree with what you're doing. We may not understand the entertainment business. We may know it's hard, but look, we're going to support you. We're going to rally you on. We're going to cheer you on the whole way. In terms of like helping out within the business, I would say I gotta send love to my girl Nautica De La Cruz, because she was the first person that I interned for, right? Before I did the A1 and spin thing, she was the one that kind of like critiqued my air check. She showed me the boards. My girl Angie B showed me the boards. My boy Cat Dog. I mean, I can DJ Dents. I feel bad because there was a lot of like unsung heroes at the beat at that time, and that's why it resonates with me, because a lot of people that never necessarily got their credit or didn't get the huge radio contracts or syndication or things like that, but they played a huge role into me because they were willing to give me the game. Like, you know, and when we say nobody showed us anything and nobody, we don't mean it literally 100%. There were people that allowed us to be in the studio, you know, when there were rules in the studio saying, oh, you couldn't be in here. People like Angie B or Nautica De La Cruz or my man Mo Dave. These are all people that worked at 100.3 back in the day that was like, yo, come in here. I'm going to show you how to work the Vox Pro. Yeah, okay, just here, press this button right here and fire off this next song. Little things like that gave me the confidence to be able to do what I do now. And it opens me up to showing the next generation of radio personalities, of people that's just interested in the business, that, hey man, come here, just check it out. Like, I want you to see it. I don't want you to think about it. You know, you can visualize it in that sense, but I want you to physically be in here, because I know that stimulation, I know that does something different to, you know, the young mind that wants to pursue this business. But bro, I know I'm leaving a lot of people out, but I would say those individuals for sure, because I don't think I named them in other interviews that I've done. Obviously the icons, Julio G, Big Boy, just from being there from afar, you know what I'm saying, not knowing them, but being an inspiration, and then obviously meeting them, that was a huge thing for me, and them being able to co-sign what we do, like that was huge. So I mean, I can keep going on, bro. I can literally keep going. My boy Trayvon, he was always over at K-Day with me, like just always providing opportunities, always chopping it up with me, always doing everything to say, yo Chuck, you good, like I got an opportunity for you, you know what I'm saying? And to this day he's still the same way. So I can keep going, bro.
I do want to spotlight one thing that you have a consistent underlining story, is that one, you're humble, and that humbleness got to your attitude. And your attitude was always right. You understood the value of relationships. Relationships will get you places money cannot. Relationships will teach you things that some people have to go to the school for 3-4 years and then hope to get an internship, versus you are blessed to be in a situation to learn what these buttons do. And then, hey, you know, you show up so much, bro, I think I got a spot for you as soon as you hit the age requirement. And you know, that propelled for you to know that you're on the right path. So many people are afraid of success. They don't realize that bridge that you have to get across, you got to keep that path still going. And so many people get emotional about business that they'll burn that bridge and think that, you know, their boat will sail through the same way. Nah, bro, you got to go a different way. And that is a part of life where you learn. You take that lesson from a loss or a lost moment into a lesson of growth and you know, the bigger thing is to make your life easier, make your
Yo,
purpose to the purpose. Go ahead.
you hit it on the head. Your path is not going to look like somebody else's path. It's okay to visualize and see how somebody else is doing it. They can lay blueprints from you, but just understand along your journey, it might not look the same. I was able to do it in a way of staying within the LA market, right? And we talking radio now. In radio, the traditional way of doing it is, especially if you live in a big city or market number one, which is New York, or market number two, which is LA, any of the top 5, top 10 markets, you have to go outside to market number 40, whatever, or beyond, and work your way up, right? Yeah. You have to leave home and then come back. I was blessed enough to be able to work in 3 stations in the number 2 market. That journey's not going to be for everybody, but it allows me to tell the next person, like, hey, don't let them tell you it's not possible, because they told me it wasn't possible. Oh yeah, you have to move to Nebraska, bro. You're gonna probably have to go to San Diego, or hey, you might have to go to Fresno, bro, to, you know, just start off. And that's some people's journey, but it just wasn't mine. It wasn't in the books for me, right? I actually tried to work for a station out in Santa Maria, and I got auditioned for. They hired me, as in a sense. They said, oh yeah, you're gonna be the new afternoon job. Perfect, great. Never heard from them. After that, I'm like, that's weird. Followed up, never heard from them. And I was heartbroken, like, damn, here we go. This is my opportunity. I just got, just left the beat. This is like 3 or 4 years into me pursuing it. And I was just devastated, man. I'm like, okay, why would they have me drive all the way out there, audition, and, hire me and not put me on? But after a while, to look back, had they hired me, I wouldn't have started Homegrown. It wouldn't have happened. So you have to look at these moments, and you may not, and this is for anybody out there, you may not understand what obstacles you're going in or what doors are being blocked at the moment, right? It might be a setup for something better for you down the line. Now, obviously, Homegrown was a better look, and it propelled me to where I'm at right now. But in that moment, I was disappointed, because I thought the traditional path was go over here, work your way back up, come back over. I thought it was that route, but it wasn't. It wasn't for me. It wasn't meant for me that way. So people have to understand that your journey is not going to look like somebody else's journey.
Yes. No, my wife says this all the time. It's a delay for a reason.
Be greater later, bro.
Come on.
It'll be greater later.
Every time. I got to know, what is something people got fucked up about the radio industry? The radio industry or LA radio? You know what? Let's keep it to LA, because I ain't going to lie. LA does dictate 90% of radio.
Not necessarily, but we can have that conversation. Either way, LA radio, I would say people got it fucked up that LA radio doesn't support LA artists, right? And I'm a prime example of that, right? This is somebody that built Homegrown Radio, and we are in the building over there. It may not look like playing insert artists here every single hour, but it is a lot of support that people don't see on the back end that's educating these artists that are coming up, right? And that's supporting them, whether it's going to shows or giving them game about the music business that a lot of people aren't doing right now, right? But people look on the outside, they say, oh, but you're not playing whoop-de-whoop. Oh, no, but you play the same songs over. Don't worry about that. This is a slow thing. This is a music business and a radio business for a reason, right? If I had it my way, of course I would play insert artists here, back to back to back. Of course I would do that. But it's a radio, it's a business, right? So we have to deal with what we have and work with that. But in the meantime, you best believe, like, we're doing our due diligence to support the ways we can. The hands behind our backs, whatever the way it looks like, we're making it work the way we can, the best way possible. So
no, you were elaborating on, the last thing I heard was specifically pretty much like how your hands are tied behind your back, but you guys are doing everything you can for the LA community and getting them heard. You know what I mean? But it's also a reflection of how much work the people put in. Because you look at the people that are getting played, you look at the work Blast put in, you look at 2 years ago, he had 14,000 monthly listeners. Now he's at 3 million monthly listeners. He put the work in.
And the thing that trips me out about that is, what I'm learning is that, and it's something I have to stop taking personally, is there's just a lack of knowledge between people. I can't explain it to every single person. I can't, even if I scream from the mountaintop, hey, this is what's going on. All right. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. Oh, you didn't know this? People still one ear out the other. Or, oh yeah, but like, for example, Blast gets played. Yeah, but you're not playing. Yeah, but you're not playing. So, okay, but let's celebrate the fact that Blast is on. Let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate the fact that we just interviewed Bino Rideau and Blast at the same time and was able to put them both on the station. Let's celebrate that. You know what I mean? And I mean, I can keep on going. There's other artists that we put on and that we've from homegrown that we've played. Yeah, but you only played them one time. All right. So you don't want me to play them at all? No, we want regular rotation for every single art. It doesn't work like that. Sorry, I wish it did, but I would be out of a job. The station might not even be here because of something called ratings. And when that shit goes down, everybody's fucked. All right. So what do you want me to do? Yeah, but I think that's where people got me, LA radio in general fucked up. It don't work how you think it works. Mm-hmm. Sorry. And we can have that and I'm down to have that conversation, but sometimes people come at attack mode versus just wanting to have a conversation. Like, hey bro, how does this work? I'm willing to have a conversation. Hey, nah, it's not what you think. This is how it works. Da, 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 da. Okay, cool.
I love the fact that you're basically saying you're coming on your understanding, not knowing how it really works, not understanding what's the bottom line of how all of these things work. How does the radio station get the songs they get? Where are they coming? I mean, it's just so much that no one asks the questions to, but they expect their own anticipation of an answer, and they want to have animosity to the person that, that is the nicest person to them. Like, bro, I'm chopping it up with you. We really politicking about something that's going to help you, and you want to get upset about something that's not happening your way. And
that's how I have to, and again, that's why I have to take it. I have to stop taking it personal. Because I understand for these people, it's life. It's life or death for a lot of people. For them, it's real life business. I get it. I understand. But if you're not willing to come down and say, okay, let's have a meeting of the minds. How does this shit really work? Educate me. Okay, I didn't know that. And that's not to say I don't. Of course, I would love a lot of things in this world to change, and I'm doing my part to do that. But you got to get. Nothing's gonna change overnight. You know what I'm saying? The very fact that we're at this radio station is a huge deal, right? And a lot of people, some people celebrate that. Some people still don't get it, but it's okay. Like I know, with more time, with more things that we do, it people will understand eventually as the more accomplishments that we do, the more things that we set out to make happen, they'll get it. But I can understand people's gripe about it, but that's what's got me fucked up.
No, that's it's a beautiful thing because it's an educational moment, and with education, it could become your superpower and how you maneuver the next time you speak to someone about an opportunity. Mm-hmm. As we speak about from this side of the radio, there's something that you do phenomenally well, and it's your interviews. I mean, you know how to relate to somebody, you know how to give people the space, and you know how to have that conversation where it's not so much of a question answer and I'm reading about it. It's more so of an interactive, enjoyable time to consume whenever it comes to listening to your guys' interviews. And I want to know is what is your goal to take from each interview that you do? And I'm gonna hit you with another question regarding interviews.
I just want to learn from the person that I'm talking to, right? I want to learn something about you, because what's going to happen is, and this is an educational part of it. If somebody can relate to you, you got them for life. As a fan, as a consumer, they have you for life. If me and you are having this conversation, right? We start off fatherhood, right? How many dads out there can relate to that? Regardless of me being on the radio or national, I'm a dad, bro. And the fact that you can relate to me and we can have that conversations, other dads can be like, man, no, I feel that. Cause yeah, my little one, or, I get that. And I try to do that with the artists that we have come in. What can we have a conversation? What can I learn from you? What can we have a relatable conversation on? Because I know that's going to translate to the listener, right? Because one part of my job is for me, right, to get the information and really chop it up one-on-one. But I have to remember there's an audience listening to us as well. So as much as I want to have a conversation and a dialogue, there's people listening. What are they going to gain from this conversation? Is it entertainment? Is it education? What are they going to get from this, right? So I always take that walking into each conversation. What are people going to learn from this artist? What am I going to learn from the artist? And are we going to have a good time? Like, I think that's the most important thing. Enjoyable. One of the big homies, A1, when we were doing an internship, one of the things he said, he's like, yeah, but I forgot how the conversation came up, but he just said, are you having a good time? Are you enjoying it? And of course, the answer was yes. It's like, then everything else doesn't matter. As long as you're enjoying yourself, everything else will fall into place. The moment you stop enjoying it, then it's time to reassess and kind of figure out, go back to where the North Star is, figure out where you went wrong, right? But as long as you're enjoying yourself, it's fine. So that's those key moments in those interviews. That's why I don't like, I'm gonna share something with you. I don't like when artists come in and don't want to, they kind of come in clammed up or shell, like, dude, do you want to have a conversation? If not, you don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you wasting my time. So I try to have a dialogue with somebody when they come in and just kind of feel them out, feel the energy. And then from there, that's a good basis for the conversation. And a lot of it is nervousness, and I get that. But it's like, bro, I'm not here to attack you, regardless of how most people think how interviews go. I'm not here to interrogate you. I just want to have a conversation. I want to have a dialogue back and forth. I want to learn something.
You got technology, but you gotta hate that shit, because sometimes when it acts up, it be
it act up, man.
Story being told, bro. I done had this one time, right? I was getting a big old my flowers from someone I was interviewing. He was talking about some crazy shit, and then boom, it just cut out. It booted me out. And I was like,
you're like, no, I want my flowers.
How do you get back on there and start the conversation with, hey, you were saying something really nice about me, and I really
about me.
I need for you to start that over the same way, so that
you were bigging me up. I need the clip. Come on, I need the clip, bro. No, but I think the main thing I was trying to get across is that, if you don't want to be here, when I'm talking to these artists, if you don't want to be here, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time, but I think it's valuable for the listener and people that are, obviously tuned in to gain something from you. Wanting to know, one of my favorite questions is to ask an artist, like, what's one thing people don't know about you, right? Like, what's the one thing or the misconception that people have of you, or even like, yo, what's one thing that you love to do before the year ends? And that's what we try to get them to manifest. Like, it could be outside of music, but it's great to see. Like, we're gonna bring the late great back up. I asked Nip, like, if music wasn't it, what would you be doing? And he was like, man, bro. He was like, I'm a nerd, man. I'm in the astronomy, so I'm in the the collider. I forgot what the place that he named, but he was like, sometimes I look at footage of just outer space and things that I'm like, that's crazy, because before radio, I wanted to be an astronaut. So like now I had this connection with him, like, bruh, I had no idea you were into that. And that breaks the wall of like music, albums, and all this other typical shit that people talk about, to a human being having a general interest in two things that, a general interest in something that we both love, man. And I try to get that across in every interview that I do. It's like, what's going to break that wall down of the facade, the image of the artist or whoever you are? I want to talk to the human being. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you are getting major cheat codes. I ain't even gonna cap.
Of course, hey, bro, take it, bro. Take it, and anybody that's watching it, take it. If you do interviews, man, that's the whole point of interviewing somebody, man. What conversations can you get out of them? Like that. If not, what are we doing this for? I know. Yeah, look, I know when your album comes out before you come, right? I know that you have this many videos up. I know all these things. And of course, there's certain fans that don't know that you still have to ask those questions, but get selfish with it. Like, what are some things that you really want to know about that person? And, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask and just kind of go there, because I think whoever you're talking to, they're willing to have that conversation, and, they want to.
Yeah, I agree. They agree to come in there having an idea of what it's going to go, and prepared if something gets brought up. And majority.
Son just made me a cookie, by the way. Sorry. Brought me a cookie. You know what I'm saying? Got me a cookie for my little man. So that's that.
Come on, bro. It's daddy daycare.
Of course.
I want to know, what are your 3 favorite interviews that you have done?
Of course, the Nipsey one. Just for the reason why the Nipsey one stands out, and whatever, I don't care. I'm giving that man his flowers. I respect him so much, but Nipsey had been promoting Victory Lap that day. Like that was the day that Rap Niggas came out. That was the single had just dropped, so it was available on iTunes. Like everything was like full steam mode for Victory Lap. We had all obviously, if you're a Nip fan, if you're from out here, we've been waiting on Victory Lap for some time. So when news happened, like it's really here, it was a big deal. So we obviously there to support him, but he was there to support us too, man. And this is when we were doing Homegrown on the weekends. We were only one day a week. But he did a radio run from like 5 a.m. and he came back to record with us at 11 p.m. Right. Mm-hmm. And he was gracious with his time. And if you look back at that interview, you can see how tired he was, but he gave us his time, bro. And I'll never forget that. And I was like, yo, bro, you don't have to do like, thank you. But he's like, nah, y'all family. Like I wouldn't have it any other way. Like this ain't no radio shit. Like y'all, we family and shit. So I appreciated that because I know he could have easily rescheduled for like the next day to kind of get some rest and kind of mentally be there all together. But he pulled up and showed up for us, and I'll never forget that. It's one of my favorite interviews. Another one is that interview you mentioned it earlier, where Kendrick talked about being going from K-Dot to Kendrick Lamar, right? Mm-hmm. That was a big moment because we knew how dope Kendrick was and is, but it was one of those pivotal moments. The Kendrick Lamar EP really set the tone for TDE, and for the Kendrick interview was very important because this is him saying he's going from K-Dot to Kendrick. We knew how dope Kendrick was and is, but this is just one of those moments where it's like he was just starting off. We were just starting off. We literally recorded that in my living before we transitioned the equipment to one of the bedrooms. We were doing it in my living room. So my wife is cooking in the other room, and all of TDE is just in there, just kicking it, right? I think the only person that wasn't there was Top, right? He was on vacation, right? So everybody else was there though. And it was just one of those moments of like, damn, this is what I love to do. To look at the homies, man. They're about to be something. And then looking back at it, it's like, damn, that was one of those staple moments in hip hop. I wish we could have had it documented a little bit better, but I got a little piece of it to just know. And on top of that, I know and they know like where the support was and where it is to this day. The third interview, I would say, there's a dude by the name of Rico Love. And he just dropped so many jewels on us, bro. Like, he's a dude that wrote for Usher the Confessions album. And I'm not necessarily like in the R&B like that. I respect him. It's cool, whatever. When we interviewed him, I didn't have any expectations going into it. I knew his caliber, knew his work ethic. But it's just something about talking to him that you just walk away feeling empowered and motivated, man. So I noticed that I gravitate towards those conversations, and those end up being some of my favorite moments because you just pull from that energy and it was just a great time. It was a great time.
Those are like some of the best interviews. You have those pivotal moments for yourself, pivotal moment for the show and for the person on. And then you also have those moments of, I got to really relate, and so much came out of there, and it became educatement. It was education, It was entertainment at the same time. And I feel like that's always the underlying fact of our job, of what we're trying to get across.
For sure.
You got some people that are, they like to knock on those doors and think there's not, repercussions and consequences. I stay away from them doors. I grew up knowing, and you gotta be down by law.
For sure. And to be honest, we understand that this is the entertainment business, and some of that comes along with it. Like you sometimes you gotta do it, but if it's not you, it's not you, right? And I understood the same thing for me. Like I don't think I want to go that route. I know how to toy with going back and forth, but there's certain things I just don't play with, right? And especially when there's been plenty of opportunities for us to do a lot of clickbaitable shit. It's like, nah, we turning that down. I don't want to talk to him. Nah, I'm cool. I don't want to give him a platform, right? So there's ways to do it. And one of our latest interviews with Boosie, really great interview. Shout out to the City Girls. We just had a conversation with her. Shout out to Vince Staples, had a great conversation with him. But those are those moments where you get some viral moments in there, and it's like, okay, we did it our way. We didn't do it a traditional bullshit clickbait thing. It was just a part of the conversation, and some parts of the conversation went out there, and a lot of people gravitated towards it. So we figure a way to balance out those two worlds of making sure it's entertainment and, like you said, that educating the people as well.
And keeping it organic.
Keeping it organic, bro. Most important part.
What's your favorite Snoop Dogg memory, whether it's his music or in person?
All right. I don't smoke like that. But
disclaimer.
It was one time I was at can I tell you two of them?
Go ahead.
They both were personal moments.
Come on, it's Uncle Snoop.
All right. So I'm gonna give you the first one, right? I was in 4th grade, Poly Apartments. We pull up and Snoop is outside, just there. And this is around the time like Doggy Styles. That this is Snoop. This is Snoop Dogg. Like
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Oh my God. Snoop. There we go. Snoop Doggy Dogg. We see him. My rest in peace, my boy's grandmother had pulled up to the Poly Apartments, and she was dropping off one of the other cousins. And we just see a crowd over there. It was like, oh, shit, Snoop. Run over there. I'm like, yo, I gotta get an autograph. Ripped a little piece of paper off, and he signed the autograph. Damn, that's dope. Ah, cool. And I remember taking it home and framed this. I forgot what I did. I think I made a copy of it somehow. Whatever. My mom threw it away. To this day, and my mom is one of those moms. Saturday morning she clean the house. She getting rid of everything. Like it doesn't look like it's supposed to be
music playing.
Yeah, and the thing is, my mom loves Snoop. She just didn't recognize his autograph. She's like, so I go to look for like, yo, where's my Snoop Dogg? I don't know. What? So, but I just remember having that moment of meeting him at the Poly Apartments. The second one was years later, obviously. Forgot what album it was. He was doing an album listening party. And so the second moment of meeting Snoop was at an album release party. Forgot the name of the album, but I somehow got front row or whatever. It was a real intimate spot or whatever. And he's being Snoop. And he lit one up and he passed it. I'm like, and me, at the time I was a drinker. I don't really smoke like that. But come on, Snoop passes you Snoop passes it.
Yeah, you gotta inhale.
Hit it. You know what I'm saying? I gave it back, and I only did it because I just want to say that I smoked with Snoop. I just had to do it. So now that's like one of those bucket list moments that wasn't really a bucket list moment, but it's like when you say it's a bucket list moment, I smoked with Snoop before. So that was another one of those moments, man. And shout out to Snoop. He actually gave me some dad advice when he came to the station too, man. So, I give you, that's the third memory. He gave me some good dad advice as well.
That's right. That's motherfucking right. If you have noticed, brother, you have made it through the show. And before we close out, the floor is yours. Let them know where they can find you. Run up what you want to run up. Shout out what you want to shout out. Do your thing, player.
Man, we always got to keep it homegrown, man. Shouts out to the platform. Shouts out to, everybody, the whole homegrown team. You know who you are. You can check us out on Monday through Saturday on Real 92.3, starting at 7 p.m., which is wild to say, still crazy. We literally came from the mud in the 3-bedroom apartment. I'm going to give you credit because the 2-bedroom, it was a 2-bedroom, but my pops converted the 3rd room, so it ended up being a 3rd room after the fact, but that's neither here nor there. 3-bedroom apartment in Inglewood, and now we on the damn LA radio, man. So shout out to my brother DJ Head. Again, you can check us out Monday through Saturday, homegrown radio, Real 92.3, 7 p.m. You can follow me everywhere at Chuck Dizzle, and that's how you can find out where I'm across the nation as far as doing radio, where I plan to be hosting wise, and just future endeavors, man. But I appreciate you for just, having this dialogue, having this conversation. These are the type of things I love doing because it's really organic. It's back and forth. And I see that you're a solid brother, man.
I appreciate you. Now, if you notice, Chuck, my show is different. It's unique. They said over there, I got to do segments. I was like, all right, I'll do segments, but I ain't going to do segments like y'all. And I'm going to keep that same energy and close out. The viewers knows it's coming. I'm going to hit you with it. You got any questions for me?
How'd you know you was dope, bro?
See, you said
How did,
that so smooth. I missed it.
how did you know you were this dope as far as conversations going back and forth? How did you know you wanted to do this right here?
Basically, like I saw like it was a void. Like I've always loved radio. I always loved TV. Like life is so raw and so many crazy things go on once I leave the house that it was important that when I'm in the house or in a car in a safe environment that I embraced it. In TV and radio, something I always embraced. And then whenever I was out, my aura is a good aura. I would get people's life stories on the bus, waiting for the bus, walking to the liquor store. I'm chopping it up with gangsters, cholos, all types of random people. And then I was like, there's a point to this, and I didn't get it. I never got it. And then someone said, "Hey, your greatest gift is sensibility." For real? And bro, I just started applying pressure and trying to learn, and that's been the biggest thing. Like I had a radio show in college. Shout out UC Santa Barbara. I had the Dick and Z session. It was on Friday nights. And then after that, I did a little bit of a online radio with the core live. And then from there, it just fell off. I started managing artists and getting into music and understanding the world. And then I wanted, my homies worked at the radio. I tried to get a job. They said no. I tried to join someone else's podcast. They said no. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna start my own. And Bobby D got behind it in the first season, and then Uncle Snoop put me on the second season, and then I've been blessed. Like, it's been so many opportunities, and I think that's the biggest thing for my story is you just got to put yourself in, and if you feel like it's for you, put the work in because you'll get something from it.
Now the year can't end without Zylo doing what?
The year came in without Zylo doing. Bro, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I need to make some motherfucking money this year.
Do you have an amount that you want to make?
So Rich Fresh told me I need to manifest a certain amount. And so I said in 4 months, I want 100,000. And then within a year, by July 1st, I want to be a millionaire. And, these are numbers. I have made restaurants millions of dollars. I have made companies money, but I've never done it for myself. And, so many things are supposed to happen this way, but the way how life goes, it goes another way. COVID changed a lot of things. Just so many things were supposed to propel me into what I thought was going to be a very successful financial monetary, and it didn't. And so 2021 cannot end without me touching some money and getting back for all the work I've been blessed to be a part of and adding my value, becoming an asset.
Got you. So add on to that, make sure you get back to visualizing the exact amount that you want. I tell you, it's a real thing that happened to me in 2019. I just threw a number out there. I was like, man, whatever. And something came up where I didn't expect it and came into a lump sum of money at that point in time. And it's not just about the money, but it's about understanding like where your intentions are behind this, right? So why do you want the money?
Come on, bro. My wife has been holding it down while I've been, finding my purpose and interning and working for little bits of money everywhere I go. Like writing, I write for magazines. I do stuff pro bono all the time. And then I've learned okay, I got to learn filming. I want to film everything. I want to make this better. I want to make my show better. So I've done 70 music videos since January with my boy. And from there, I've had so many relationships, and he shoots for Blast and Bino, and he shoots for One Take J and Kaylin, and shout out Created by Blue, because he really put me in a position to really grow, not just spin around my head cut off and try to figure it out. He said, no, I got to put you on a path. And then from there, I had other people, hey, you need to put more work in this arena, more work in this arena. You're putting the work in, but you're just working in 5 gyms. I just need you to stay in one gym. And then once you get that one gym in, everyone's going to be able to respect that. And then you can go back to put some more time in other places. But right now, you got to develop your name in this gym. And that's something I've been really working hard at so that I can arrive. A lot of people like to say that they're taking off. Hey, I'm going to whoop-de-whoop. I got this going on. I'm going to the award show. But everybody always posts that, but they don't post when they actually arrive, because a lot of people make a U-turn or they just stop. And I'm trying to arrive, and then I'm trying to take right back off to the next level, and I'm trying to lower the ladder down so that we can start breaking these cycles of going through hoops and loops, put people in the right position, and it's worked out for a lot of people. Let's look at.
Do you know what arrive looks like in your mind? Do you have a clear definition of like, oh no, this is the arrive moment? Like I was telling you before, me cracking the LA radio mic was my arrived moment, and then it happened, right? For you, Zalo, what's that arrive moment? Because you know, like you said, you got the backing from Uncle Snoop's army. You got Bobby D, excuse me, Bobby D. You got Snoop behind you. At this point, people would think, yo, you arrived, you here, right? But in your mind, you still feel like there's that next thing that you need to get. Now, I get going to the next level, but for this next level, is it the money that you feel like you're gonna arrive once you make a certain amount, or is it a certain accomplishment that you have to hit to for you to arrive?
I feel like I still gotta have that draft day moment where I get something picked up and you sign for something. Like I've turned down a couple of contracts, and to be very transparent with everybody, I regret turning down the contract because I thought that this meant this, and not understanding what all the work I had to do for free that I would have got paid for if I would have signed the contract and still would have got to the same spot. So to answer that question, I personally don't. I mean, I want to tell you, it's going to be a phone call that I get from somebody, and they want to pick something up that this show has been something that has really helped me. I was at a point where I quit working my job. I was making a pizza place a lot of money. I'm literally from 20,000 to 40,000 in a year time, and changing their sales, changing the atmosphere of the company to, all right, God put me so uncomfortable. I had to change the way I was doing things. I got into it with some people in the streets. I'm going to work with a gun. It's wild. It's about to be some wild shit. And I'm prepared for it, but I'm not realizing everything I'm sacrificing. So God made me uncomfortable, and I quit my job. And then from there, I thought I was going to do real estate. And then a radio personality said, no, if you do real estate, I'll get you a job, but you got to leave music alone. They can't know you're part of any of this music stuff. They can't know you're part of this gangster. Like, they can't know your history. The only thing they can know is you're a great real estate person. And then God woke me up, sent me to the BET Awards, sent me to so much other things that opened my mind to understand that, no, this is a gift and you got to utilize it. Don't allow someone else to put pressure on you because they think that your career is supposed to go another way. And, I've been on that long path and I've enjoyed it the entire time. There's been arguments and stuff between my wife and I, because sometimes the lights don't turn on the same. And when that happens, you got to be able to put the work in and find the truth in yourself and how to arrive and taking care of your household and then getting back out.
One thing I can guarantee you, bro, and it some people might look at it as, I don't even know what the fucking word for it is right now. But if you stay true to your vision, if you consistently put in the work, the opportunities are going to flow. They're going to be there for you. Now, it may not arrive the way you expect it, may not be the timing that you expected, but it will happen if you stay locked in to that journey, to that vision, and keep on attacking, keep on attacking. And you're going to look up 2 years, going to be 5 years, 10 years, and you'll be closer to where you think you are, or actually arrived at that moment, just based off of you just staying persistent. I see a lot of people get so close, and they're like, man, but yeah, I don't want to do this for 10 years. The ninth year, right? Where the 10th year would have been them being able to blow up, they give up on the 9th year. It's like, damn, bro, like you were right there. You know what I'm saying? Or an opportunity of a lifetime, goes away because you're like, well, let me just do this instead. Oh, you're right there. So I see that for you, bro. I see that for you. And don't harbor on not signing that deal, because that's news in the past. It, like I was telling you before, it happened for a reason. Everything that's going on in your life, it happened for a reason, right? So don't look at that as a regrettable moment. It's a teachable moment. You didn't sign it for a reason. You don't know what that would have looked like. It could have been a lump sum of cash, and it could have set your family up for the time being, but you might have been fucked out of some ownership. Who knows? Or it could have been the other way around, where you might have had ownership, but you ain't making no money for the time being, and it just wouldn't have looked right. You don't.
I want everyone to learn this word. It's called proprietary, and that means that they get some of you in the future, no matter what you do. But sometimes you got to realize, like in my situation, I felt like where I beat myself up at is, you're arguing over nothing. You don't have no value unless you sign with this company, because they're not going to take you serious. And then it's like, oh, fuck that company, because they want something from me once I have these other opportunities take off. And then, COVID happens, and, it shuts that thing down. And then it's like, shit, if I would have signed, I wouldn't have had to done all of these stability relationships, because I would have had a sustainable partner to network and have the amount of listeners to make my
how do you know that though? How do you know that though? It might not have went that way. I know a gang, and this is on some transparent real shit, right? COVID happened and it allowed me to get way more jobs because let's just say I was the go-to guy for a lot of people. When a lot of jobs were getting let go around that time, sustainable jobs getting let go because of COVID, somebody had to step in and do the work. So it may not look a certain way, and that's a conversation we can have off air, but don't harbor on that, bro. I get it. It may feel like, damn, I should have. That's a teachable moment. Okay, I learned this lesson from it, but I guarantee you're gonna look back and say, oh, that's why that happened. I guarantee. And when it happens, I want you to call me and be like, Chuck, I remember we had that conversation. I get it now. It's gonna happen, and you're in that same moment that I was when I passed or when they didn't hit me back. It's like, damn, I did everything that. Man, I wish. Man, should I did? Ain't nothing you can do about it now. You passed on it, and that's fine. You're gonna realize why that happened.
So this show, I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it. That I was talking about this show. I was literally shopping for it to go on Fox Soul. I had the founder of Fox Soul on here. He had a phenomenal story. We related. He told me so much, but the board didn't go with my show when it came down to the final date. After I had the footage. It's on here on YouTube. My show's supposed to be on Fox Soul, and it didn't happen. And the show that got picked up was Hollywood Unlocked. And a lot of my content I was doing wound up for another show that popped up on that same network. And it's just like, okay, that was a real teachable moment that, hey, you got to understand what they're looking for, and then you got to redirect what you're doing so that you give that to them, but you're still true to yourself, because they were able to pick up what you're doing, fill that in with this, and then give them that same raw element in someone else. And it was just like, okay, that moment wasn't meant for me, right, but that was a moment to learn from. And it's, to talk about from Dash Radio contract to going with that stuff with Fox Soul, it really opened my eyes of understanding that, you have to continue through the steps.
Absolutely. And again, you're gonna continue to learn these moments. And the biggest thing to take away is, and I know you understand not taking shit personal, but really, really own that. Okay, it didn't go right. Boom. Next opportunity. Because the thing that I know that you're good at it without even knowing you're good at creating opportunities for yourself. You're going to figure it out. That's what I feel like we have in common. You're going to figure it out. Whatever the situation is, you're going to figure it out because you're a husband and you're a father, right? You're going to figure some shit out no matter what happens. So I would just say, stay focused on that, because the opportunities are going to come. And then when you look back at it, you be like, oh, I see why the Dash didn't work out. Oh, I see why Fox Soul didn't work out, because had that happened, this might not have been whatever. And when I'm telling you, bro, when it happens, I want you to hit me and be like, Chuck, I get it. Okay, this is what I got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? And the last part of this is I'm still asking you questions. What's something that I can do for you?
Damn.
How can I help you along your journey? Whatever you got going on. How can I help you out?
Honestly, the biggest thing I can ask from you is to learn from you, because that's the one big trait that knowledge is a power, but when you can use that knowledge, it's a superpower. And as I've learned and researched on people on how they became that person that they've arrived to, they've learned from the greats. And if there's any way I can learn from you, I will do it. If you give me an hour in a week, I will pull up for that hour and do whatever or however much time, that is something I will humbly ask for if it's an opportunity to learn from, because that's something that is rare. Opportunities are as rare as money on the ground.
If you don't have my line, I'll make sure you have it before we end this thing. You know what I'm saying? But I got you, bro. That's easy. That's nothing. That's it. I feel like that's what I'm here for, man. The radio shit is cool. Like I love doing that. This is I love all that. But my purpose here is to give back through either motivation, like I said, where people see what I'm doing, or direct. You know what I'm saying? So if there's a way I can help you out along your journey, because the last thing I want you to do is give up on your path because there was a lack of opportunities, or you feel like, oh damn, I didn't get this because, not even a cosign moment, but just like, damn, nobody stepped up to kind of help out in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I can do to help out, bro, you got me. You got my line. Let's stay connected, man.
On that note, it's Contrast Uncut. It's season 5. It's episode 22. You know,
Boom.
it was a real Hall of Fame moment for me. I got to give a big shout out to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. I wouldn't be able to do incredibly dope shit like Chop It Up with Chuck Dizzle. And this brother dropped them gems the size of Texas and motherfucking California on the same motherfucking scale and continue to flood the episode like he was a manufacturer of these things. I appreciate you, King, for coming on, being solid, and just being transparent to the energy that, you know, we can't take that's in us with us, so we got to take it out and give it to others so that they can put it on themselves and arrive. I appreciate you, King. This has been an incredible opportunity, a credible conversation, and a powerful moment. Thank you.
Likewise, man. Thank you for the conversation, bro. Let's stay connected.
100%. I'm about to, you know, the same way I got to you, I'm about to be in your DM right now.
Let's do it, bro.
I appreciate you, King. Blessings.
All right, peace. Yep.